Hey, everybody, welcome to our show on Gussy's Gut. I want to welcome Donna and Bryan from PhotonicHealth.com. I'm always excited when there's three of us on. It's just enough to be almost unruly, but
Right.
but I think this is going to be a really cool show because we're going to talk about healing, everyone. So, if you don't mind, can I just give you guys an intro into my background with Photonic Health?
Sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
not your website, but the topic of Photonic Health. So I've hired for my own wellness, I've hired really amazing doctors. And my first doctor who cured my 13-year sleep disorder. I had it for 13 years, went to the best sleep disorder clinics, went to neurologists. They couldn't figure it out. This doctor figured it out. He believed in photonic nutrition. So that is nutrition from the sun and, it's greens and, really, really, really healthy stuff. And this was like, we're talking like, oh my gosh, 22, 24 years ago, something like that. And so he believed in consuming things, consuming photonic health. He also believed in light therapy, and he patented a device that had micro vibration, but also had lights in it. And he's just a genius. He's a great guy. Shout out to Robert Milne, and in Nevada. So he gave me my intro into this, and it made complete sense what he told me. He just said, look, you want to consume as much actual sun and as many things from the sun and the light as you possibly can. So that's a little bit of my background a couple decades ago. Now forward, I go to a gym. Specifically, the reason I go to this gym is specifically because they have these red light therapy, red light infrared beds.
Yeah.
And one of my doctor who I have, he has other lights that I like to go to. So I'm all in personally. And my dogs, I've done lasers, I've done light therapy, I've done all kinds of stuff to my dogs. I just think it's a great strategy for wellness and also for therapy. So with that, let us talk about, you guys make devices that can bring light into a dog's world, into the home. And let's talk about, first and foremost, without talking specifically about the devices, can we just talk about the different lights? Who wants to take a stab at just like going through what the different lights do to give our audience a quick, get them up to speed?
Well, Brian's the engineer, so he is the engineer and the designer of all of our products, and he has been so. And we started out as end users of light therapy way back in 2002. So so we've been in the industry for a very long time, and we started our company in 2008. So Brian, you want to talk a little bit about the four colors that we focus on?
Well, the main thing that we look at is different color vibrations that do different types of healings in the body. So most people think of cold level laser or, you know, light therapy as red, which is the most common color. And the thing is, the red has a variation of vibrations from 620 all the way up to 690 nanometers. And what that means is that vibration of that color creates that nanometer output color and vibration that it's producing. And each one of those has different depths of penetration going into the body. So the higher the vibration, typically the more depth of penetration you get. So, and what we found that there's an overall number that really works well, which is 660 nanometers. That gets you, where 630 only gets you to skin level. Higher than that, you're bypassing some of the skin and different things you're doing. So we want to, and what we found out is that red can do four major things for you. One is it can stimulate an acupoint in 2.5 to 10 seconds. So you can do acupuncture. You can heal 60 to 80% faster with light than without it. You can also release muscle tissue. So a lot of times we work on different muscles, the belly of the muscle, the insertion, the attachment, and release muscles, and helps on as far as chiropractic goes, because we all know that, anything that's got 4 feet is symmetrical, and they're out because they're asymmetrical somehow. And then the other one is where we're antiviral, so we can eliminate viruses in the system just by putting it into the bloodstream. From there, we've gone into now blue light, which is using antibacterial. We've gone green light. Green is for skin issues, but it really gets into the pineal gland that puts them back into parasympathetic mode, which is a wonderful thing to do. So like animals that are flipping out a little bit or sore or scared of light, we can hit them with green just between the eyes with the yin tang, and right away they start to, dogs will almost lick and chew and yawn within what, seconds, Donna? I mean, it takes seconds.
3 seconds, yeah.
And then the other color we use is what's called near infrared, which is an invisible color, but it gives you much deeper penetration. That's up there in the, the 800, 850 range versus the 660. So those are
deeper than infrared itself.
No, infrared is actually up higher than that.
Well, so there's near infrared and there's far infrared. And most saunas are far infrared saunas. So you want to stay in the near infrared range because far infrared has some downsides to it. And our goal is to create devices that nobody can misuse it, and no animal can get harmed by it. So
yeah, I totally understand, because what Bryan is explaining is you've picked some sweet spots of frequencies and settings that make it hard to misuse, but also are addressing most uses and common. It's got to be an interesting challenge to not create 4 different versions of a red light.
Right. And the thing is you got to make sure that, like, we do all our in-house testing as far as outside testing, so everything we purchase that for parts all gets tested by us to make sure that's correct. The other thing that we have also implemented into ours is we introduce Nogier frequencies into our lights. So those are Hertz frequencies that actually do different healings that Dr. Nogier came up with for different parts of the body, as well as tone vibrations. So each one of those vibrations create a tone vibrations. So we use a lot of the musical tones, even though sometimes you can't hear it. And then we put that in a handheld and also into a pad or mat type system to make it easy to put on the animals or which way you want to use it.
So that's 2 lights, 2 colors, right?
That's 4.
Wait, did we just go through 4 already?
Red,
green,
blue.
Oh,
blue is antibacterial.
Okay.
Then we went with green. Green was for the skin and for anything that affects them as far as being parasympathetic or sympathetic mode. And then near infrared, which is a color you can't see with your naked eyes, but you can see it like with a camera.
Okay, so your infrared, your near infrared was considered a color. Okay, great. So then on the sound therapy, that's another area. When I first heard it, I thought, come on, really? That's ridiculous. No, when I went to another facility that was pretty expensive, actually. And one of the things they had was these things that I stand on and I hold on to, and it sent sound therapy through. You couldn't hear it. Yep. Sound therapy through me, super multi-vibrational. And I did, I don't know, can't remember, it was 5 or 10 minutes or something like that on it. And it's that you could do all kinds of settings, but it was mostly for like joints and recovery and all that sort of stuff. So I started to look into it at that point, and that's pretty incredible stuff. This is all just energy medicine.
Yes.
Everything is energy.
Everything's energy.
Everything.
Yeah. So, and I've of course done cold laser, tons of laser to my dogs. Done the acupuncture, acupressure, light use. Gosh, I'm trying to think what else. Anyway, I've done a ton of stuff, but I think and I've seen the results are clear on my dogs. When you talk about penetration, Bryan, and I promise, Donna, I'm going to give you a question in a second. When you talk about penetration, how do you deal with like the fur? Like, because you're not going on skin, does that need to happen?
Well, most of the lights will get down to skin level, but what we have found out that fur itself is actually hollow, and it's almost like a straw. So it just brings it right down into the skin itself. And then it just cascades down into the cellular level, down into the tissue, all the way down to bone. So the higher you have what's called milliwatts of power, the faster it's going to get deeper in and get you more penetration. So like Donna says, it's kind of like the battery. When you hook it up to a car, the higher, the more powerful battery, the deeper the penetration. The interesting thing is that we make sure that we're in a very safe therapeutic range, so you can't do any damage, so you can't cause eye damage, you can't cause burning of the skin, but yet we get much deeper penetration than most true lasers out there that use laser bulbs, which is older technology, get, because they cannot go very high because they create so much radiation they can cause issues with the cells.
That makes sense, because if in my case I've got a black lab, and I used to have a white. He's pretty white lab. You would think that the white fur would reflect the sun. They need sunlight, just like we do. And I mean, you just think it doesn't make any sense that it's not like it's a reflector or a blanket. It makes sense that it would work like a straw and almost like a conductor of some sort.
Right.
I don't know if that's the right word. Is it conductor?
It works.
All right. Yeah. So Donna, here's my question for you.
Yes.
Isn't it sad you create this great company? Isn't it sad that most of your customers, I'm betting this is the case, and I haven't asked you this, are just using your products for treatment and not wellness, or mostly using it for treatment and wellness?
Correct.
Okay.
And the other sad thing is we're huge on education, because there's a lot of red light therapy companies out there. Most of them are going to be gone within 2 years, just because they're looking at it as, oh, hey, this is a way to make money. And we didn't start our company because of that. But what we've found since using light since 2002, there are so many different ways it's just like a guitar. Like I could just play the basic chords, but then you can get somebody that can just, play riffs and just like make a guitar scream, right?
Yeah.
And Bryan and I sort of feel like red light therapy is the same way, because of our experience, and him and I are learnaholics. So we're always taking new classes. We're always learning new things, new strategies. We have a farm. So I've got horses, dogs, and cats that we're always using our lights on. And the saddest thing is people either don't think to use their light, or they use it in the most basic capacity, which is to put it on where it hurts. You're going to get good results if you put it on where it hurts, but it can go so much more beyond that. And so that's probably the biggest challenge for us, is really educating people that, hey, you've got this cool tool. Let's really make it sing for you.
And you really only have to use it once or twice, 2 to 3 times a week. It isn't like you have to do it twice a day all the time. So, I mean, if you have a dog, and they're prone to colic or diarrhea all the time, I mean, you just start putting it on those points that we have in our book, or right on the abdomen area itself, and you can just make a huge change in them overnight, and you just maintain it by doing so.
Wow. Because one of the things that breaks my heart is when brand new customers come to us and they order a trial bag, and they ask us how fast we can ship it because their dog has cancer.
Right.
Yeah.
And, I just, we put all of we're happy to, obviously we hope that is something that's going to be helpful, but
right.
We don't know any details about, I think we have this happen a lot. And I just, wish that people would invest some energy and resources into preventative and wellness, and the result of like the yawn that you both described, and the deep breath and all of that. Like, I mean, wouldn't you want that like every single day, at least to happen once a day? Some kind of nice relief.
I know for me, like my animals are my babies, and so it just rips my heart out like every time something happens to one of them. And so we're always on the preventative. And I think a lot of it is, not lack of education, but no education. What does it look like when your dog is getting sick? And a lot of people go, oh, my dog has tear stains. oh, I'm just going to put a topical whatever on it. No, that's a gut problem. Fix the gut, like don't wait until it's such a huge,
or buy a, they buy a silly pill or a silly chew, and it speaks to the marketing, speaks to them, and then they waste a bunch of time. Look, I mean, I would even say, for anybody listening, please don't just look for signs of illness. Look at creating the wellness signs, and the wellness signs are the yawning, the deep breaths, the feeling of content, the the energy, the clarity in the eyes, all that stuff. Anyway, we can go down that whole rabbit hole. But, yeah, and also, the thing I think is worth repeating always. I tell this to everybody: when your animal is in, I call it the penalty box, when they're sick, it takes a lot of money and a lot of effort and a lot of heartache to get them out.
Yes.
It's so much cheaper and easier and better to be on, like, it's almost like paying, remember the term layaway, like putting something on layaway?
Yep.
Just like do that, as opposed to this $5,000 expense when your dog has something catastrophic, and the stress is through the roof for you, and you still have a job, and you're trying to, when the last year of my dog's, my black lab's life, that my first black lab buddy, I was just giving him really great palliative care, make sure he was super comfortable. I was driving 45 minutes each way, 3 times a week. Thank goodness I work for myself. People can't do that.
No.
The drive was the worst part, to give him hyperbaric oxygen treatments. And those were 45 minutes I had to sit. So it was a 3-hour investment. And I just thought, nobody could do this. You certainly can't have a hyperbaric at your house.
Right.
So, those being in the penalty box, or, being in a situation where you have to, treat or give therapeutic dosages of something, it's a whole heck of a lot more expensive, a lot worse, a lot harder to do, So, one thing that you mentioned, Bryan, was, I'm sorry if I just take it out of context, but it made me think about something about blood and light and blood. Is there anything you guys have ever done, put light to IVs or anything like that?
Well, we don't physically do that, but there is that out there in the market. I mean, they illuminate blood that they pull out of the body and put it back into, especially different colors, to kill bacteria that's in the blood. Or the one thing that when red is applied to blood, it affects the white blood cells, which are called the macrophage cells, and it increases the macrophage cells in the body, and that's what actually attacks the viruses. So the light itself isn't killing the virus or destroying the virus, because the virus isn't alive. It's the cells that it's activating that goes after the virus that takes care of it. So there's quite a bit out there. As far as what we do is we have attachments so you can actually get them to go in, like on a dog, for going into the mouth, so you can eliminate the bacteria around the teeth, which is a big one. They're again, preventive on that is huge, because it's a lot easier to do that every once in a while than it is to have teeth pulled, and now you're dealing with feeding them a mash or something because they can't eat like they normally would. Or so we use that for a lot. We use the green a lot for skin issues. We use all kinds of rashes and bacterials, and we've had some pretty good luck with yeast and the red light as well. Especially putting it into the ears. And believe it or not, blue takes ticks off or ticks and fleas off your animal, but they will jump. Just so you know, they just go away from it.
Wow. Yeah, my vet, for 2 of my dogs earlier in the past, one of them had this yellow lab. He was my yellow lab, Owen, was, it didn't matter what health I did for him, he still got his occasional ear yeast infections.
Yep.
Poor guy. And she would throw laser in there, but that was red. It still seemed to be helpful. It wasn't curative, but what would that have been? Blue light. That's more ideal for the yeast.
Well, if not for the yeast, the red would be definitely better for that.
Oh, okay.
Blue is more for bacteria that's going on.
Okay. Okay. And then you have attachments that what? Like, how does an attachment work for dental?
It's just the dental tip that goes on the front of ours, so it's a curved tip, so you can get into the mouth, and it's plastic so that it's not glass. So that way, if for some reason they do, I never had anyone ever say they ever had it chewed off by a dog, but you know, we have always wanted to make sure it's safe for them. But it allows you to get along the gum line and get in. I don't know if I have one sitting here or not.
So is it like you just lift the cheek up and then it's almost like you brush, or you just point it?
If you talk to Donna a second, I'll grab one quick so I can show it to you.
All right, Donna, let's talk.
Yeah.
I want to see this dental. You guys, I don't know. I'm gonna start getting really into this with you guys.
It's such a fascinating topic, and a lot of people, when we start talking about, all the different things that it can do, it all almost really sounds too good to be true. But when you understand that we're going at it from a cellular perspective, and everything is vibration, and life is cells, living cells, then it makes perfect sense that why wouldn't it work? So,
well, what occurs to me, tell me if I'm wrong, is you've got something that is additive. It's not subtracting. There's no side effects like a drug or a chemical would be, or a topical chemical.
Right. Yep.
But also, if, for example, use yeast is diet related and you haven't changed the diet, but one of your devices can ameliorate some of the symptoms. You're not curing it with your devices. You still got to make the diet change, folks. But this is a really good partner. I think this is what I would do. I would use light with actual changes in at the root of the issue. Okay, so you have a dental. Did you?
So like this is our multi-light. So I got, trying to get with the camera. Camera goes backwards here. So I got green, red, blue.
Wow.
And I can put a tip kit on it that's
wow, that's cool.
And then that can get into the mouth, or else we have a straight one that you can go into, like get it into the ears.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
What?
So we just rescued a Frenchie 2.5 weeks ago from a like the breeding
situation.
We were not going to go down there, but we just rescued her 2 weeks ago, and the poor little thing, like, she came with yeasty ears, yeast on her belly. So of course we immediately changed her diet, but in order to support her through that, like, we just have given her just light treatments, and it makes a world of difference, like immediately.
She was running around with her ear on the floor pushing, and we got done red lighting, and she ran off and started playing like within 5 minutes. I mean, it was
That's so cool. Yeah, we talk about, these are my favorite partners in health and wellness, because it's like we did a show on what is that, micro bubble therapy. I forgot the name of the company, but there's these micro bubbles. I mean, billions of bubbles, and it's great for the skin. I could see doing that with this, and like, I mean, whoa, like flushing out with the micro bubbles. I mean, that should be carrying these things in their practice, doing these things, and a micro bubble therapy, your therapy at the same time. The dog walks out is like a new dog, and gives this body a chance to heal. And then of course you're making changes with diet and so on and so forth. But that, so you would buy that dental attachment separately, in addition to the light.
Yes, it's an additional thing they can purchase.
Cool.
And of course, we have veterinarians that use our products, and we always encourage, and we always want to have conversations with veterinarians to incorporate light therapy into their practice, because it can be so beneficial for them. However, the goal of our company when we started in 2008 was actually to create a device and an at-home system that people can use in their homes. So people like you don't have to drive 45 minutes each way to have this therapy administered, because at the end of the day, it can be 100% safe. And, like you said, it's an investment. So it's an investment in your dog's health, and not just one dog. Like it's not a pill. It's not a tincture. It's not a consumable. So like our devices are crush proof, and we have a lifetime warranty on them. So it's like one device. How many dogs you got? How many dogs you want to take care of? We're very big into the rescue scene, because they've got to control expenses, and they got so many dogs or so many horses that they're dealing with, and that's where the goal of our company is to let people know that, hey, this is something you can do at home, and you can do it to support your dog's health from a prevention perspective and from a recovery perspective. And you can still go to your veterinarian for extra support.
Yeah.
It's not an either or. That's the thing about light therapy, is it complements virtually any other therapies out there.
And it's not contraindicated. It's not going to interfere with other therapies that you may be doing. It's light. The other thing occurs to me is, first of all, before I forget, I know I'm going to forget. Is the light for the mouth, is that red?
It depends what you're trying to do. If you're trying to eliminate bacteria, you're going to use blue.
Mm-hmm.
So if you got like puffy gums and all that stuff, but if you have like an inflamed gums, or you want some that are bleeding, then you would use the red.
I was going to say, like Dave Asprey, bulletproof guy. There's all these now human dental fitting, and they're now coming out with red, which is like gum therapy, and it's healing and reparative to the gum. So that's why I was asking about red.
And it also takes care of the pain. Red will take the pain out.
Yeah. It to me, if you look, I don't even know what your product cost. I didn't even look at it because I didn't want to go into that with you guys on the show. Here's how I think of these expenses. We don't even need to talk about a dollar amount, but if we look at whatever you guys look at, if you're on their website, and the website's photonichealth.com, what you want to think about is, and this is how I think about my expenses for my dogs. If, let's say, even just the dental application extends, in my head, this is how I do it. If it extends out a dental cleaning another 6 months, and I ultimately, at the end of a period of time that my dog's alive, I have less dental cleanings to expose them to, which, by the way, it's not ideal. I mean, a lot of dogs have to get put under. That's not good for them.
Yeah.
So if you could, my dog gets twilight medicated sleep, so it's safer, but still, like, why wouldn't I want less dental cleanings and more? So if this extends it out, you're essentially saving money, because you're maybe saving on 1 or 2 cleanings over the lifetime of your dog. The other thing is, gosh, you guys, if you guys live far from a veterinarian that you love and trust, and you have to make that 45-minute trek, like Donna was saying, gosh, wouldn't it be great if you just had fewer of those visits? That's what, 80, who knows what they are, depending on where you are in the country, $80 to $100 a pop. So just think about the specific applications you're looking for, and just play out a scenario. If it causes less treatments, less inconvenience on your time and impact on your time, and also just less impact on your dog's system, whether that be drugs or other things. If you think that it could possibly do that, why wouldn't you at least give it a go?
Right.
So how do you guys think about when people are considering it, and they, I don't care if your product costs $200 to $2,000. It doesn't matter because for different people, $200 is just the same as $2,000. What would be the, like, if I'm considering it, how do you tell people, hey, come into this, give it a go? How do you introduce people into, not working with light therapy, and all of a sudden thinking about making a purchase that can help their dog or dogs?
Well, the way that we handle it is, it is an investment, but we have a price, we have a varying price range of products. If you have more time than money, then we've got a product for that. And if you have more money than time, we've got another product for that. But one of the things is that
Using my trade show thing.
right, to provide the support, because a lot of people are coming into light therapy and they're getting these devices and they're like, okay, I got it. Now what in the world do I do with it?
Right.
And that's where, we have an education system. Every single one of our purchases come with an introductory online course. It's geared toward the adult learner. And the other aspect of it is I'm old school, I am huge on customer service and customer support. So I'm old school. You can literally pick up the phone. You can talk to one of my support team that's based here in the United States, and they are going to stay on the phone with you until you get comfortable with it. And so, I think that's where, and we also send out weekly newsletters and case studies. So every week you're going to get an email from us. It's not a marketing email. It's, hey, this was the case study of the week. Here's how light therapy worked, and here's some strategies to implement it if you're dealing with this or if you ever have to deal with it. So it's important to consider your purchase and partner with somebody that actually is going to be there after the sale.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%. That's great. I want to go back to, I'm sorry, I'm focusing on dental. I just think that's for everybody. And the cats and there's some breeds that are, I think they're smaller breeds that always have, like, it seems like they're always getting their teeth pulled. Is that right? Like, there's some breeds that, what are those? Can we call these out? Like that?
Shih Tzus, I think, have problems
The
with that.
Shih Tzus, the Chihuahuas, the French Bulldogs, the Boston Terriers, any of those, small
push
breeds.
noses.
And then, the brachycephalic dogs. So regular bulldogs. So.
Okay.
But to go back to your answer a little bit, we also created models so that we have good, better, best. So having one red light is better than having no red light. Yeah. So our basic model is right in that with books and with your whole support, right around that $500 range, which is really reasonable. We always say, cost of one vet visit is paid for itself. And how many vet visits do you do if you have animals? It's not hard. It's not hard to have that add up. So it's not bad. And then you're in the system. You got the full backing of our company. You've got the full back, and we're here. We're not a fly by night. We've been in business for how many 15 years now, Donna? It's like we're not going anywhere tomorrow. Yeah. And like you said, you can pick up the phone, you can talk to us, and we've got tons and tons of education, and we're actually have certification. We have a certification program. So I mean, where do you want to go with it?
Well, it's also, in life, when I'm learning a new skill for myself, there's like, you can have the done with you or done for you version. It reminds me of that. So you probably have, I like that you have these levels, because if somebody's listening thinking, well, gee, there's a $500 version of a light and there's, 2 other levels above it. What, like, I don't want to get the lower version, and that's how they're thinking. It might just be that you want to do 2 or 3 treatments more treatments more often with that light. Am I right about this?
Correct.
Yeah. I mean, the more expensive ones have more power. They got more colors. They've got more trinkets.
So let me just interject. I'll just interject here. So it's all it is in order for you exchange time for money. So instead of buying the more expensive one, just invest a little bit more time, or, like everything in life, sweat equity. You can hire the person to do all the work on your house, so you can sit back and do nothing, or you can do all the work on your house and invest it all yourself. So that's, I think, super smart on your part to do that, because it opens up the world to people at all. The thing that breaks my heart is that when all these dogs should be getting the same, in a perfect world, should be getting access to everything. It's just not the world we live in. Unfortunately, there's these economic barriers. It breaks my heart, that some of them don't have people, that they're living in shelters. Shelters have economic constraints,
Right.
and different people have economic levels. So I would say that if you can do something, let's say, use your example, 500, and you've got an animal suffering from a condition that this could possibly address, just put more time into it and a little bit more elbow grease,
Right.
and use that and benefit just the same. I think also that there's a lot of services. In my town, you can actually have a veterinarian come to your house, do house calls, do this therapy, that red light therapy. Sorry, not red light therapy, lasers. And you can also buy a laser.
Yeah.
So, an at-home visit is convenient, but you pay for it. And the cost of I've looked at lasers, and the cost of 5 sessions with an at-home visit of a vet is the cost of a laser. That's the way, I would think of Photonic Health, the
Right.
products that you guys have.
Correct.
Sorry, I had to interject that, Brian. Sorry.
No worries.
That's all right.
The only difference between cold laser, so if you're a vet or if your physical therapist is going to be administering cold laser, it's exactly the same thing as a medical grade LED. The only difference is they probably paid more for their device.
Way more.
They probably paid more for their device. They have to be careful using it around eyes. And they also can absolutely not use it on cancers, tumors, or anything like that, because lasers will literally make the tumor grow right in front of your eyes.
Ooh.
LED is exactly the opposite. Every day, new published medical studies are coming out about LED light therapy, and the cancer research is absolutely mind blowing. That it can actually shrink
And we've
tumors.
got quite a few testimonials of people that have shrank tumors with
Correct.
using just the red light.
Correct.
Wow, that's great. And you have to be careful, like thyroids on lasers, right? Don't you?
Yep.
Yeah, but you don't have to on yours.
Anything that has to deal with radiation, and that's what the lasers put out, is the low level radiation.
Okay.
And what they don't understand in cancer is that high level radiation will kill cancer, but it won't kill all of it because it goes up. But it's the low level which grows the cancer.
Wow, that's crazy.
Crazy.
That is crazy.
So there's lots of little nuances within the light therapy industry, and it's really hard to obviously cover everything all in one fell swoop, or to learn everything by just going to a couple websites and spending 15 minutes reading about it. And especially because the intent of everybody is always to help the animals and to heal the animals and provide a better life for them. So that's what we're here for, is just to be a resource for people and to provide guidance in whatever capacity that looks like.
Well, this is great. So I think we did it. We organized a discount code. Is this right, Donna? For it's Gussys. And what is that discount? If somebody wants to purchase, you can use this discount code Gussys with an S at the end. What does that give people?
It gives them a $25 discount on their first purchase from us.
Okay, awesome, great.
Yep.
No matter what it is, there's $25 discount on one of the.
Even if we have a special going on, they still get the additional $25 off.
Oh, great, awesome. All right, everybody. So if you use code Gussys and checkout, and you just go to photonichealth.com and check out their stuff, sign up for their newsletter, read what they're sending you, and get informed. And you guys have videos on your website that people can just step into the world of light therapy.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got videos on our website, but if you go to our YouTube channel, we have literally got, I think,
hundreds
of videos on there.
Great, awesome. So YouTube, and it's just search in the YouTube bar for Photonic Health.
Yep.
Yeah. And we feel so positive about our product is that we give the best guarantee out there. We do a 100% 90-day money back guarantee.
Great.
Use it for 90 days and some reason you don't like it, we'll give you your money back, no questions asked.
That's a nice amount of time, because in 90 days you can see almost anything.
Right.
Like within 90 days you'll see our products results. Like 90 days is a very nice amount of time.
Yep.
For you to see, is this thing going to work for my dog's skin conditions, ears, but their mood, their anxiety, whatever. Well, thank you both.
Broken bones. Yep.
Yeah, all that stuff. Yeah. Thank you both. This has been, Donna and Bryan, this has been very, very cool. And now I'm going to have to go on Photonic Health and spend some time doing my research on these actual units.
Yes.
Thanks
for having us. We sure appreciate it, Rob.
Yes, we do.
Well, look, folks, everybody, please hear me. Photonic Health, getting your dogs out in the sun is free. Please get them out in the sun, get them out in the world, get them really healthy food, greens, things that are grown in light. That is absolutely key. And then apply light that's optimized for wellness, like Photonic Health does. You're never going to go wrong. This is all good stuff. It's additive. So thank you both. And thank you all for watching.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks.